All right, what's up, guys? Race recap coming at you from my home base here. I was going to be doing this in a hotel room, but had something come up, so came back home to do something, and we're going to be doing this race preview from home, and then heading back out to the racetrack here tonight for the night before the King's Royals. So hopefully, you guys all enjoyed the coverage that we had there with Flow Racing over the last 2 nights. It was fun to work with Blake Anderson and Tony Laporta. I felt like we all kind of had a pretty good chemistry going on there. And most of the time, it was just us making fun of each other, which, in my opinion, is always fun, especially when you know you're just messing around most of the time. So obviously, quite a bit happened in this race. We're just talking about the main race, the Joker's Jackpot, 100,000 to win and $4,000 to start. A lot of big names missing out on the feature. Probably most notably was Corey Day. And I know there's a lot of people, when I put that preview video together, talking about the top 5 guys from the Outlaws, High Limit, and the Invaders. A lot of people, where's Corey Day at? How do you not have him on the list? How do you have Justin Peck in the top 5, right? My thinking with that going in was Corey Day had never been to Eldora Speedway, and I didn't really know what to expect from him. Obviously, you do not see the 14 on the board here. And the other thing with that was Justin Peck. People were like, how do you have him in the top 5? And, well, hey, look where he ran. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that one. I knew it was a little bit of a risk saying that he was going to be one of the top 5 guys with High Limit. He avoided all the chaos. His car stayed in one piece, and he was good both nights. Top 5 both nights, the double down duels, and here in the finale. Obviously, there's still 2 nights to go, but we'll see what Peck can do, man. I thought he's been really fast. He was really solid both nights, and hopefully he can continue that speed here over the next 2 nights with the Outlaws. So let's do a lap by lap and see what happened throughout this race, because there were so many storylines. It seemed like you did not want to be running inside the top 5 throughout this race, because there were so many things that happened to the guys up front. And you'll find out, if you did not see it, you'll find out here in just a moment what exactly happened. So lap 1, it's Gio Scelzi leading the field to the green alongside of Kyle Larson. So Scelzi would lead lap number 1. And then on lap 2, Brad Sweet quickly getting by Donnie Schatz for the 2nd position. And then on lap number 3, Logan Schuchart, he gets by Schatz for the 6th position. And so Schatz having a little bit of a tough start here in this race to start things off. And so then on lap number 4, Tyler Courtney, I think I might have something wrong here. This is not for 2nd. That was for 4th, excuse me. So, or for 5th. So Brad Sweet gets by Schatz for 5th. Logan Schuchart gets by Schatz for 6th. Excuse me on that. On lap 4, Tyler Courtney then throws a slider on Kyle Larson for the 2nd position. And if you remember back to the double down duels, those two had a moment there in the first feature, or the 2nd feature race, when Kyle Larson kind of threw a short slider and Tyler Courtney had no option there. Had to slam on the brakes, almost got into the wall. Larson made the pass. Tyler Courtney did not make it nearly as close on Kyle on that one, but he was able to slide him, tag the cushion, drive away, and maintain the 2nd position. Then on lap number 9, Gio Scelzi gets into lap traffic, but just as he gets into traffic, the very next lap, he goes to the inside of Kerry Madsen, the first lap car, to put him a lap down. And sorry, my cat kind of ran over my whiteboard when it was on the ground. That's supposed to be lap 10 there. But Gio goes underneath the Kerry, and I don't know if Kerry was really expecting to see the leader coming that quick. He was at the back of the field. Gio looked to the inside going into turn 1. Not sure if it took the air off the 55 or what, but he goes up into the wall. He hits the wall, does a 360, somehow stays on all 4 wheels, keeps going straight, goes into the work area, but his night would come to an end as they would put that car back in the trailer. And under that yellow, the 2nd place car of Tyler Courtney has a flat right rear tire. And I feel like that's happened to him a couple of times with High Limit Racing, where he's been having a good run, right rear tire or something goes wrong on that car and takes him out of contention. And it looked like he may have been the only guy that really had anything for Gio Scelzi up until Gio's incident. In my opinion, he looked like just the dominant car all week long, or all, the 2 nights there. He won his Group B feature, and then he led almost every single lap of this race until his incident at the end of the race. And then on the restart, Brad Sweet gets by David Gravel for 3rd, and you'll see on this board, man, these guys are swapping this position back and forth. The points leader for the Outlaws, the points leader for High Limit. Those guys were just absolutely having a heavyweight title match out there on the racetrack for that 3rd position. They swapped it back and forth several times throughout this race. And then on the restart as well, Kyle Larson gets a really good restart and is able to slide by Gio Scelzi to take the race lead for a moment coming off turn 4. Scelzi is able to cross back underneath of him and retake the lead at the start-finish line. So Larson never officially led a lap in this race, but Scelzi was able to cross back underneath of him. And then on lap number 11, David Gravel getting back by Brad Sweet for the third position. And then Logan Schuchart is into the top 5 on lap number 11. I believe getting by at that point in time, I'm pretty sure it was, or who was it? I'm trying to figure this out off the top of my head here. I believe it was Justin Peck that he had gotten by at the time to move into the top 5. And then on lap number 14, Brad Sweet getting back by David Gravel for like the third or fourth time to get into that third position. The running order at this time on lap number 15, it's Scelzi, Larson, Sweet, then it's Gravel and Schuchart. Then you got sixth place at this point in time is James McFadden, Donnie Schatz, Justin Peck, Sheldon Haudenschild, and Brent Marks, the top 10 on lap 15. Lap 16, the yellow flag comes out when Buddy Kofoid ends up blowing an engine. He was running outside the top 10 at this point in time, but Kofoid blowing an engine, unfortunate deal there for him. On the restart, on lap 17, they go back to green and coming off turn 4. They would go 4 wide for the 5th position. It was Donnie, it was Peck, it was Marks, I believe, was in there. A couple other guys, Schuchart was in there as well. I mean, 4 wide off the corner, and that was not the only time we would see 4 wide at the front of the field at Eldora Speedway. And man, there was just cars all over the racetrack. I saw people saying that there wasn't much passing. Tell me that when Rico started 20th, finished 5th, and Jacob Allen started like 23rd or something and got to the top 5. I mean, maybe there wasn't much passing at the front. I will agree with that, but there was plenty of passing at the back of the field at Eldora last night. And then lap 22, Jacob Allen enters the top 10. And so, Jacob Allen, in my opinion, if he does not have his issues later on in this race, if he was able to get by Donnie Schatz, because Schatz was on the bottom, Jacob Allen could have played spoiler. I think he would have easily ended up on the podium in this race. I don't know if he had anything for maybe a Gravel or a Scelzi, but man, was he the story in this race. Jacob Allen just absolutely plugging away at the bottom, was so fast. It was so cool to watch after he's kind of, he started off the year hot, got that win at Golden Isles, has a couple of wins with the IRA and things like that. But he's been kind of quiet with High Limit over the last couple of months. And man, would that have been a cool story to see him end up in the top 5. But you'll find out in a moment what happened to him. Lap 25, Gio Scelzi gets back into lap traffic. And on lap 26, Larson, I would say, is about a straightaway behind at this time when Scelzi gets into the back of the field. Scelzi goes down the backstretch with a run on Cy Lynch, the first car to go a lap down. Tries to slide him, but I think he kind of misjudged it a little bit, maybe thinking that Cy wasn't going to be that fast going into the corner. Scelzi did not take the car all the way down to the inside wall to slide him. He kind of entered in the middle. Cy also kind of entered in the middle a little bit. And Gio was not able to clear Cy Lynch, and so he's kind of, floundering through the middle in the slick, has to get to the cushion to find grip, and that allowed Kyle Larson to really close the gap on him to about maybe 6 or 7 car lengths down the front straightaway. But then on that, they came across the start-finish line, going to turn 1. Larson's pretty close, but coming off of turn 2, he clips the wall and, gets all squirrely down the back straightaway, and David Gravel is able to get into the second spot due to that mistake. On lap 28, Donnie Schatz and James McFadden both get by Brad Sweet. Schatz gets to 4th and McFadden gets to 5th. McFadden was the Durst Dice Roll driver from the 7th position. And then on lap number 32, Jacob Allen is trucking forward. He is on the move. 4 wide off the corner with the lap car of Cy Lynch. It's Allen, McFadden, Schatz, and Lynch. 4 wide going down the front straightaway. And Jacob Allen goes into the top 5 after starting in the 21st position. And then about on that same lap, coming off turn 4, Gio Scelzi, it was not like we were on the, on the Flow broadcast. You're watching Allen going down the backstretch and after that 4 wide scenario. But at that same time, Gio comes off of 4. And, this is the thing I love about Eldora Speedway the most is these guys are on the ragged edge every single lap. Knoxville is a little bit different, I feel like, because in my opinion, it just depends, right? But I feel like at the Nationals, the track is not on the guardrail. You're not having to be on the guardrail to be fast at Knoxville, right? And that's what separates Eldora a little bit from Knoxville for me is if you make one mistake, you're going to get into the wall. Even as the leader, with Clean Air, he did this. He made this mistake, right? He gets into the wall, right rear, hits it off 4, and that brings the front end of the car around. He clips it with the front end. I have no idea how he kept going, but he had white-walled the right front tire, which is something you don't see very often. The right rear was actually, it looked like it was okay as far as, paint on it, but the right front was just absolutely, looked like a old style, car from the 50s. It was a white-walled right front tire for Scelzi. He would keep on going, but right after that happens, the caution comes out for James McFadden. He gets a flat right rear tire, and due to that, we have an open red flag conditions. The crews come onto the racetrack, make adjustments, add fuel, do all that good stuff. And some things would happen under this open red. Anthony Macri, he was running just outside the top 10. He would get a flat tire under the open red. He would have to change it, put a new one on, and he would go to the back of the field doing, you can't change a tire under an open red flag condition. And then also under this open red, Jacob Allen not able to refire the number 1A car. The push truck gets in behind him, tries to fire him. You maybe think he didn't get it in gear or something, so he stops, tries again. Car has no spark under the hood, had to take the car to the work area, and it was an ignition box for him. And unfortunately, he would have to go to the tail of the field. He would rebound to finish in the 11th position, but still, what could have been for Jacob Allen in this race? Luckily, he still has 2 more nights this week to try and redeem himself. But he cannot be, disappointed. I mean, he can be disappointed, right? But just to show the speed that he had, I feel like that's just, it's a good thing for him and that team to show that they had some capable of maybe winning this race last night. Then on the restart, Gio Scelzi and David Gravel after the open red, they go restart, they go 1 lap around, going into turn 1 with about 7 laps to go. David Gravel runs the bottom off 4, and Gio probably sees his nose coming off 4. Gio goes into turn 1, and Gravel's maybe like right here on him. I mean, maybe a car length behind him. They go into turn 1, and this was something we saw a lot throughout this week. I mean, the last 2 nights, guys going into turn 1, misjudging the corner. And, Gio said in an interview after, nothing was broke. The car was fine when he went into the corner, gets into the wall, and this time there was just no way that he was going to be able to save it. He hits the right rear into turn 1. That brings the front end around, and most of the time when that happens on corner entry, there's just nothing you can do when that right front tire gets into the wall. He spins around and does a little, Tommy tip over, gets upside down, lands back on all 4 wheels, and his run at $100,000 comes to an end. Would have been easily the biggest win of his career. And you could just tell when he got out of the car, man. I mean, it was total dejection, knowing that 7 laps away from $100,000 and his second straight win at Eldora Speedway after winning his first one the night before. Gio, in my opinion, was the car to beat the entire race. I don't know if that's just because of clean air or if he really was just the fastest car, but he was, virtually unchallenged except for that one time when Larson kind of slid him. And once he crossed him back over, he was gone again. Gravel was close on the restart, and maybe him seeing Gravel's nose a little bit, maybe that kind of messed him up going to the corner. I'm not sure, but it was definitely a tough thing to see Gio Scelzi get upside down there with a handful of laps to go. Under that red flag, Parker Price Miller has to go to the work area. He has a flat right rear tire as well. Then with 7 laps to go on the restart, it is David Gravel, Kyle Larson, Donnie Schatz, Logan Schuchart, and Brad Sweet, the top 5 on the restart. Lap 36, Kyle Larson was running in second. Really, he was maybe, 8 car lengths or so behind David Gravel. Not close enough at all to throw a slider or anything like that. He goes to the bottom in turn 3, trying to find something, just searching around, knowing that, Gravel might have a better car. But if Kyle can find something late, then maybe he can pull off a miracle. He goes to the bottom, and as he's doing that, the car almost looks like it looked like it was running out of fuel, right? It slows down. He's probably lurching forward in the car, just trying to get that thing to go. Donnie Schatz gets around him, and all of a sudden the car comes back to life off 4, and he's in third, gets back going. And then a lap later, the car just finally shuts off. It sounded like, I believe, a rear end problem for Kyle Larson. That's what took him out of the race, and he would retire, go back to the trailer, and his night would be over. So that was on lap 38. Then on the restart, it was Gravel, Schatz, Sweet. They get going, and with 2 laps, it's hard to make up any momentum. It got hard to get going with just 2 laps to go in the race. David Gravel would win by about a half straightaway over Donnie Schatz and Brad Sweet. So $100,000 going to David Gravel. Donnie Schatz, very, very good here recently, heating up at the right time. And could he potentially be the 7th or get his 7th Kings Royal on Saturday? I really do think he has a fantastic shot at doing that. So Gravel wins, Schatz second, Sweet third, your podium there. Great run, fantastic run for Justin Peck. I cannot say enough good things about the Buick Motorsports 13 car. They were absolutely fantastic both nights. I really, really hope to see them carry that speed into the next 2 days. Rico Abreu was 5th after starting 20th. Brent Marks, 18th to 6th. He was not really a factor in either of the features that he ran over these last 2 nights. They're still struggling a little bit with getting that car dialed in. And one big thing that a lot of people were talking about was the 1-inch wicker bill here on the half miles. A lot of guys struggling with that right now, and that could be the issue for Brent Marks, but still a solid 6th place effort. Logan Schuart finished in 7th after running inside the top 5 for most of the race. Sheldon Haudenschild was 8th, Carson Macedo 9th, and then James McFadden, after that flat right rear, got back into the top 10. Jacob Allen would finish 11th after the ignition box issue, and then it was Spencer Baston, Corey Eliason, and then the first invader of this rundown here is the 39M of Anthony Macri. He would run 14th. Tyler Courtney, what could have been for him as well? He finished in 15th. Parker Price Miller, 16th. Caleb Henry and Garrett Williamson. Maybe not the finishes they want, but I think them just being in the show was enough for them. They got $4,000 just to take the green flag, and they're probably going to get more than that for running 17th and 18th, maybe like 42, 43. I don't know what the exact number was. I couldn't find the purse, like the full purse, so I didn't want to put that on the board without knowing that. But hat shake to Caleb Henry and the 23 of Garrett Williamson. Cy Lynch also made the show. He was the first guy in off of the points. The top 2 in points that didn't transfer to the features would automatically make the show. That was him and Rico Avery. So good run for good job by Cy Lynch to make the show, finish 19th. Kyle Larson with his issues finished 20th. Gio Scelzi led the most laps of this race, about 33 laps in this race for Gio Scelzi. He finished 21st. Aaron Reitzel 22nd, Buddy Kofoid 23rd, and Kerry Madsen would end up in the 24th position. So, I would say the story of this race was not the race for the lead, right? It was almost a battle of attrition. A lot of flat right rears, ignition boxes, guys flipping over, getting into the wall, having problems, and that is what Eldora is all about, man. Who can keep their right rear tire off the fence and make moves without getting themselves in trouble? And last night it was David Gravel. I don't think he was the fastest car by any means. I think Gio was the fastest car, and then I think after that it was maybe Sunshine. Those were the 2 best guys, but they both had issues, and David Gravel able to take advantage of that and get $100,000. So good way to start off Kings Royal Week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this breakdown from last night's race at the Joker's Jackpot with High Limit Racing. Hit subscribe, hit the like button. I'm going to head back out to the racetrack here in just a minute and go drink some toilet waters, take in the racing action of the night before the Kings Royal. The next video will be a recap of the Kings Royal. That'll be out on Sunday, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I talked to quite a few of you guys over at Eldora Speedway, and a lot of you singing your praises about this whiteboard and my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it very, very much. Thank you so much. And don't forget to comment down below, what did you guys think of the 2 nights of High Limit Racing at Eldora? I want to hear your thoughts, obviously. So let me know. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.